and welcome. I'm Dinotopia and this is Dino Topics Reviews, a series where I build and review a movie in vanilla Minecraft. I'm done in my skelly farm that I built last episode, and today I will be talking about a newly released movie from this very niche, very unknown YouTuber named Markiplier. I will be building the submarine from this new movie called Iron Lung. I did this before seeing the movie, so I based it off the game design. Please refer to the timestamps below if you want to jump around to the actual reviews or join me as I gather way too much copper for this build. As always, if you like this content, subscribe and leave a comment on the movie you would like to see next. Now, let's get to the mining montage, and action! We're back, and I realize my starter base doesn't have the best furnace smelting. So plot twist, unless you check the timestamps, I will be talking about another YouTuber directed film that came out last year as I build a better smelting system. So let's get building while I discuss Chris Stuckman's 2025 directorial debut. Shelby Oaks is directed by YouTuber and film critic Chris Stuckman. It follows Mia as she attempts to find her missing sister who disappeared under strange circumstances. I really enjoyed the first 30 minutes of this movie. It feels heavily inspired by Blair Witch, and I found the found footage early YouTube really set this film apart. Once it falls into a more conventional framing and abandons the found footage is where the cracks start to show. I think it would have been so easy to continue the found footage aesthetic, as they already established characters working on a documentary about her disappearance. Just keep that through the whole movie. The character of Mia also makes some baffling choices. I know that's how horror movies are, but a film critic like Chris Stuckman who complains about horror tropes should try to avoid them in his own movie. Not to mention many of the scares are just basic jump scares. And he even had an overused demon research scene in a library. I know I'm being hypercritical, but I do honestly think the film is worth watching. When the found footage was being utilized, it always kept me on edge as I searched through the grainy background for any monsters. I also was surprised by the demon's plan and how some early clues were made clear by the end. For a directorial debut, this film is very promising. I am looking forward to seeing more films by Chris Stuckman, and I would recommend this for any horror fan. I'm putting it in Iron tier. I love this view. I think it's so cool that you can see the builds in my world from my starter base. I have plans for this area over here, and that part of the ocean over there is where today's build is going to go. So, without further ado, let's talk about Iron Lung. Iron Lung is directed by and stars YouTuber Markiplier, and is based off of David Skamansky's game. Apologies if I mispronounced that. It follows Simon, as he is forced to serve his prison sentence by exploring an ocean of blood in a submarine to gather information on what happened to the millions of stars and people who vanished from the universe. Is he alone in the depths? And will he ever resurface again? This movie feels very long. It's over 2 hours long. And I think that's its main issue. The story itself is very intriguing, but we are stuck in one small submarine set for the entire film. This led to many of the scenes feeling insanely repetitive. Again, not helped by the bloated length. I want to give props to Mark for his performance in the film, but I couldn't help but feel like hiring an actual actor might have benefited the movie. Some of the more emotional beats might have landed better, as I noticed the camera always shot Mark from behind when he was tearing up. The premise and world are arguably the most interesting and cool parts of this film. Questions of where did all the stars go? Why is there A blood ocean, and what is the creature Mark is communicating with kept me engaged. The set was also really impressive. The rusted interior slowly being filled with blood and becoming more organic over time looks so gross and cool. They did have a few fake-out scares with Mark hallucinating creatures on his ship that felt unnecessary to me, but the big monster did not disappoint. I really like the creature design. From the brief shots we get of it, it's really thin, long, almost needle-like teeth set it apart while also being inspired by Cthulhu. I also really like this idea of the camera he is using to look out into the ocean's depths being an X-ray, so we can never truly know what the creature looks like. The claustrophobic vibes were excellently conveyed through the cinematography, either having angles through wires of the sub or close-ups to show the repressive space Mark is stuck in. I don't know if it was just my theater, but I did notice some audio issues in my viewing. The dialogue was almost at a whisper compared to everything else. The marketing made a big deal about how much fake blood was used, and for it to only be used in one scene was kind of a letdown. Don't get me wrong, that scene was the coolest thing in the film. With all the build-up and the crazy runtime, I would have liked to see more. I do believe this is an impressively bold yet flawed directing debut from Mark. I genuinely believe there is an S-tier movie in the editing room for this. Perhaps someone else will make a fan cut version, but judging based on what I saw, I'd have to give it copper. So again, for the design, I didn't have the actual movie Submarine as a reference, so this is somewhat of my own design mixed in with some photos I found of the game. I honestly wish I could turn the water red somehow, like make it look like blood. Now, looking at the cramped interior, I always try to make these builds useful in some way, so I thought a simple cactus farm would be good, which has produced a decent amount while I was waiting for the copper to age. Next episode, I finally have plans for my nether portal, so subscribe if you want to be notified when that episode comes out. But for now, that's all I've got for you. My name is Dinotopia, and this was Dino Topics Reviews. Thank you so much for watching. Let's cut!